now is just unite as people.
Spewing empty platitudes about uniting and loving each other doesn't accomplish anything. It's just a coping mechanism so people can hide from the fact that they're completely powerless in the face of evil. And you know, I wouldn't even care. It would be pretty harmless. But many of the celebrities doing this are the same ones to exploit people's grief and emotion, to shout down people like me as racist for trying to politically push for policies that will genuinely reduce the risk of terrorism, reduce the risk of little girls being maimed and mutilated. That's why this needs to be called out. And that's why Katy Perry needs to
shut the up.
I love you, Katy.
I love you so much.
We have private labeled it, and it is the exact same product, just the name is different. Emmerich Essentials. It's on average 20% off. On top of that, if you sign up for auto ship, you get an additional 25% off. Emmerich Essentials is all about personal care, hygiene, not getting skin cancer, not getting bit by a bunch of bugs and mosquitoes. It's all there. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, and you'll find Emmerich's Essentials.
Very few outlets will actually have the temerity to tell you the truth about the aftermath of situations like Manchester. You know, the sheer hate and oppression that is inflicted upon us simply for telling the truth about this. There are powerful forces that don't want you to hear this information. We've been so effective in red-pilling a generation. They're terrified of us, and we couldn't do it without you. We need your support because we're constantly on the edge of being censored. We have to fight it day by day. Eventually, they could just kick us off all these different platforms. We would be solely reliant on you, as we have been from the beginning. So please support us by getting the specials. We have the Support Patriot Media Special. This is the Memorial Day Mega Special, now live at InfoWarsStore.com for a limited time. You can get Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver at 65% off retail. Huge discount. Super Male Vitality back in stock now at 30% off retail. We have Survival Shield 40% off. Brain Force 47% off. Secret 12 Knockout 50 and 43% off. All InfoWars Trump shirts 75% off retail. So huge discounts right now at InfoWarsStore.com. We also have the new Emmerich's Essentials line of organic household products. Again, you're going to buy these products anyway, so why not get them from us and support this network? We have the non-nano SPF zinc oxide sunscreen, deep-free herbal bug spray, concentrated peppermint mouthwash, pure unscented body wash, the shampoo, the tea tree shampoo, and the natural deodorant, and much more at InfoWarsStore.com. Save money and stop exposing yourself and your family to toxic ingredients. Visit InfoWarsStore.com to get the new line of Emmerich's Essentials. Great organic products which you're going to use anyway, so why not get them from us? Available right now at InfoWarsStore.com. We need your continued support.
You gotta have the will to accept the truth and buck the system and the group collective. Do that, and you'll earn your way to the next level. This is the InfoWar.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
It's Thursday, the 25th day of May 2017. I'm your host, Alex Jones, and we have a huge exclusive news for you today, some of which I can get to, some of which I can't. But I can tell you that Dr. Jerome Corsi, who is a very well-respected, famous investigative journalist, formerly worked for U.S. government agencies in clandestine capacities and other things we can't get into. He is obviously interfacing very, very closely with the White House and was given the big intel 3 months ago by the Trump White House that Obama had looted $300 billion out of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. 2.5 months later, Mnuchin, the head of the State Department, the head of the Treasury Department, came out and said, yes, those reports are accurate, and Trump wants to stop doing it. And they're now having hearings on Capitol Hill about not letting the Obama-era criminal activity of looting Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the private investors and taxpayers continue. They're trying to make a federal agency that is solvent and actually is an engine of free market and an engine of productivity and an engine of home owning, an engine for the middle class's ascension, bankrupt. Continued globalist attempts to sabotage any type of stairway up into wealth, destroying the ladder on which the elites themselves climbed. That's the type of news that he breaks on a weekly basis. Corsi, I've known Corsi, he's been coming on 14 years. He's got 3 #1 New York Times best-selling political books. He's changed the course of at least one election. The guy does not make stuff up. That's why he's so hated by the left. That's why the globalists want to try to keep him out of the White House press briefings, which they've been unsuccessful to do, because they don't want somebody that's been friends with Trump for 44 years, and somebody who's had dinner with Trump many times, including last year, and who was at a dinner event with Mike Pence just last week. They don't want him being in the press gallery because he will ask real questions, and then all the other phony reporters that are in there, they will be shown up as the frauds they are. That's why they say he's fake news. That's why they say we're fake news. It's because they're the fake news. We're going to document that today. Here's just 2 examples today. And then I'll get into all the huge breaking news and the inside intel we've got. But just to understand this. Corsi is very credible. And Corsi has proven he's credible. And I got off the phone with him this morning, and for the first time in 14, 15 years knowing him, he said, you can tell people if I get killed over the weekend that it was X, Y, and Z, and you're going to need to talk to this person, let's just say who's in the legislative branch. If I am killed, they have the data, and I will come on your broadcast Tuesday and I will break it all, but I've not been authorized to do so until Tuesday. And then he told me 4 bombshells, 2 of which I can begin to give you, the other 2 I can't. But for the first time knowing Corsi, 14 years, he's never been dramatic like this. He said, if they kill me, he said, listen, Alex, this is very dangerous. You need to be very careful as well. And then he filled me in on some of the stuff going on behind the scenes. There is a war in this country. This is not just an information war. It's already hot. And the Democrats and the globalists, they mean to totally take this country down. So at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to get to that news because it's just... I had about a 20-minute conversation with him this morning driving into work. And then ever since I got here, I had trouble focusing on all the other news, even though it's very, very important and extremely illustrative of what we're facing because of the intel he was breaking down. And then when I got here, Owen Schroyer had some similar info, but not directly from the sources, dealing with one of the very same topics. And I separately went and did my research and confirmed that this whole thing stinks to high heaven. But let's just say they got their ducks in a row before they killed Seth Rich. And that's only part of it. So I will get to all that at the bottom of the hour. Joining us today, Larry Nichols hadn't been on a while. He's got a lot of intel for us. Mike Cernovich is popping in. Tommy Robinson, who was in the center of the Manchester attack, exposing it. He'll be joining us to go over some of the new outrages. We have videos on Infowars.com that after it aired live on Channel 4 in England, that's their big national channel, they deleted it But we have the video of Muslim women wearing shirts that have hand grenades on them and machine guns and saying, you better not be Islamic phobic or we're going to strike back. And other Muslim men saying they're not ashamed. They're not going to apologize for what happened. Extremely arrogant people. But when the left gets some crazy white guy, that they can go after, and I agree they should go after him, like Dylan Roof, going into a black church and killing 9 people, every white person on earth is guilty for it. Every Christian is guilty. Every gun owner is guilty. But when people show up in Halloween costumes with hoods over their heads, with hand grenades and machine guns on their shirts, and start saying you better watch what you say about Muslims or else, it's mind-blowing. So that's coming up. And we've got video right here in the United States of the Minneapolis mayor gives official state speech in a mosque, blast the president for his oppression of Muslims. So that's how Democrats respond when Muslims kill people. And by the way, I knew that I hated Ariana Grande. I knew she'd shot her mouth off about Christians and keep the borders open, and she hated America. So right after I got home earlier this week, and there'd been the bombing at the rock and roll pop concert for tweenies and young ladies there at the Sky News Center in Manchester, I did about 2 minutes of searching, and there she was saying, quote, I hate America, and spitting on red, white, and blue donuts, okay? So I could then turn to her saying how much she wants open borders and how great it is. And we have Katy Perry saying the same type of garbage. But I had forgotten about this, and BuzzFeed took it down, talk about being Soviet style, when it came out that, here's this pro-Islam lady and her own fans getting blown up. They said that they took it down just for the public's own good, but now they've been forced to put it back up because it was such an outrage. Embarrassment for BuzzFeed as it temporarily removes, then alters a nasty article about Ariana Grande. And in the article, she said she hopes her fans all effing die. In a response, it seems, to the deadly bombing at Grande's Manchester concert Monday night. After the deletion gained a large amount of attention on social media, reaching the front page of the Donald subreddit, the republished article is back up on the site with a disclosure saying this 3-year-old post about a reported Ariana Grande quote went viral following a suicide bombing at her concert Monday in Manchester, England. The remarks are unrelated to the incident. But she did say she hopes her fans die. And that's the whole point, is this is her attitude towards her own fans. This is the self-centeredness of these people worth hundreds of millions of dollars and have bodyguards and big fences and gates around their moated castles. That they don't care about their fans. She's come out and said, we need more open borders. She's come out and said, I hate my fans. And she's not come out and said, even though a Muslim working with accomplices has now come out with a coordinated strike with a sophisticated weapon, despite all of that, despite the fact that that person would have killed her if he could have, she still won't criticize Orthodox Islam or suicide bombers, because that's not the end thing to do. Because the left must prop up Islam and must say it's loving and peaceful and helpful and compatible, because it's the shadow army for their takeover of the West. It's the uncompatible cancer in the open free society by the so-called left that hates open free societies, that wants to ban free speech, that wants to ban conservatives and libertarians and nationalists off Google, off Twitter, off Facebook. They're authoritarians, and they see a friend in the enemy of their enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. They like the Arabic saying. They're dirtbags. They're cowards. They're cucks. But maybe they really are the alphas, the alpha cancer, the alpha parasite, because we won't do anything about them. So she came out 3 years ago and said, I hope my fans all die. And the left is such control freaks, they go and delete articles showing where she said it because it'll make their whole narrative about Muslims look like a fraud and a hoax, because it is a giant fraud and is a giant hoax. It's ingrained in their authoritarian DNA to go around memory holing everything to manipulate information to suit their mass fraud narrative. And nowhere is that more evident than the entire Russia hoax. We've got big developments on that front straight ahead and so much more. I'm Alex Jones. This is the InfoWar. After 4 years of research, the next big game changer has arrived. Z-Shield, toxic metal and chemical defense support. It's made in the USA. It's filled with known compounds from nature that are absolutely associated with detoxifying the body, and it supports the InfoWar. It is a classical 360 win. We're changing the world. Now it's time to change our bodies with Z-Shield at InfoWarsLive.com.
Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. If you're interested in healthy thyroid, if you're interested in well-being, if you're interested in having a higher IQ, which this has been linked to, get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com.
We have private labeled it, and it is the exact same product, just the name is different. Emmerich Essentials. It's on average 20% off. On top of that, if you sign up for auto ship, you get an additional 25% off. Emmerich Essentials is all about personal care, hygiene, not getting skin cancer, not getting bit by a bunch of bugs and mosquitoes. It's all there. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, and you'll find Emmerich's Essentials.
Very few outlets will actually have the temerity to tell you the truth about the aftermath of situations like Manchester. You know, the sheer hate and oppression that is inflicted upon us simply for telling the truth about this. There are powerful forces that don't want you to hear this information. We've been so effective in red-pilling a generation. They're terrified of us, and we couldn't do it without you. We need your support because we're constantly on the edge of being censored. We have to fight it day by day. Eventually, they could just kick us off all these different platforms. We would be solely reliant on you, as we have been from the beginning. So please support us by getting the specials. We have the Support Patriot Media Special. This is the Memorial Day Mega Special, now live at InfoWarsStore.com for a limited time. You can get Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver at 65% off retail. Huge discount. Super Male Vitality back in stock now at 30% off retail. We have Survival Shield 40% off. Brain Force 47% off. Secret 12 Knockout 50 and 43% off. All InfoWars Trump shirts 75% off retail. So huge discounts right now at InfoWarsStore.com. We also have the new Emmerich's Essentials line of organic household products. Again, you're going to buy these products anyway, so why not get them from us and support this network? We have the non-nano SPF zinc oxide sunscreen, D3 herbal bug spray, concentrated peppermint mouthwash, pure unscented body wash, the shampoo, the D3 shampoo, and the natural deodorant, and much more at InfoWarsStore.com. Save money and stop exposing yourself and your family to toxic ingredients. Visit InfoWarsStore.com to get the new line of Emmerich's Essentials. Great organic products which you're going to use anyway, so why not get them from us? Available right now at InfoWarsStore.com. We need your continued support.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.
You think our information's hardcore? You think our focus is brutal? Try our nutraceuticals. Try our supplements. We've taken Brain Force and made it Brain Force Plus. Now at 20% more in the bottle and even more hardcore formula. You owe it to yourself to get these products. They really have worked for myself, my family. They have 5-star reviews by the thousands. Secure your Brain Force Plus today at InfoWarsLife.com. Now 20% stronger. Again, InfoWarsLife.com. Coming up in the next segment, I'm going to go through the big breaking news and the internal battle, the Civil War, going on in D.C., and some of the big shoes that are about to drop, how Trump's getting ready to strike back. You probably remember last week, Dr. Corsi wrote 2 articles that Trump needed to prepare a war room and a battle strategy to take down the false Russian narrative. And, of course, the Trump White House has announced today that they are prepping a war room to defend against the Russian probe. We'll be looking at that as well. They're not just going to be looking at the Russian probe. They're going to be counter-striking with the facts. And some of the big weapons that are about to be rolled out, you will learn about at the start of the next segment. And by the way, this isn't leaking. We're green-lighted to give you this information. So, doesn't the fake news hate that? They can't stand it. Let me get into this first, though, just dealing with credibility. Then I'm going to get into the Russian narrative because it ties in to these other developments at the start of the next segment. Let me just do this in this shorter segment because every day I see mainstream news articles that a year after, 2 years after, 3 years after, 4 years after, 5 years after, 10 years after, 20 years after, we break it, is now mainstream news exactly as we said. Not kind of like we said, exactly. And that's what's so frustrating. 95% of what we cover is already admitted in government white pages, government white reports, white papers, congressional reports, studies, C-SPAN events. I mean, it's all there. And here's an example. Business Insider. This is this week. Scientists have found a way to photograph people in 3D through walls using Wi-Fi. The military 50 years ago had what you'd call ground-penetrating radar and other sonar systems that would see through walls, concrete, you name it. Police departments 20 years ago started getting handheld units. It used the same technology. So I wasn't telling people something that was that was super secret. Then it came out with Microsoft Connect 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever it first came out. Industry publications talked about how people were retrofitting it and using it to look through up to 2 feet of concrete. And the average house, I mean, you can look through 4 or 5, rooms, through the rooms with that type of technology, through a whole house. Through mansions, you could look through. And they found hackers were getting into the Connects and videotaping people having sex, playing video games, whatever the case is. That was in industry publications. We covered it at the time. There's a story from 2013. We covered it back in 2011. The media came out and attacked us and said we were crazy, it didn't exist. Jones thinks that your Xbox is watching you through walls. They always change it too. No. We said the Connect. But there were other systems doing it as well. And this is just one example. This is just what I saw today, just looking at the stack. And it goes on. Extracting audio from visual information. Algorithm recovers speech from vibrations of a potato chip bag filmed through soundproof glass. And then it gets into how these algorithm systems are being sent out by the televisions to activate your smartphones, to scan what's in your house, to give it a basic digital fingerprint, better than human eyesight, everything happening inside your house. That's another technology, MIT News. MIT researchers using Wi-Fi to recognize people through walls. Oh my gosh, they told us about it in 2015. Thank you, Verge. And then, of course, here's InfoWars telling you about it in 2014, 13, 12, 11. You read it here first. Government spies on innocent people via webcams, laptops, and Xbox. And then it's got all the admitted government documents right here for you to see it. Here we are, 2013. Adon Salazar, new Xbox reportedly won't let you play unless it can spy on you. But again, the Kinect was the first and even worse. New Xbox can see through your clothes just like TSA scanners. Adon Salazar, 2013. So there you go. We didn't even pull up the stories even older than that. Jason Burmas, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, actually covered it here first. Now, that That said, here's another one on Infowars.com today. Suspected Berkeley Antifa bike lock attacker that almost killed people, reportedly, arrested for felony assault. Guess who, a month ago when it happened, found his name first and put it out here on air of the professor? Her name is Millie Weaver. And we're going to have that added to the Zero Hedge article on Infowars. We broke it. He's now charged.
Empire.
He's now charged. He's now charged.
Jones and the GCA.
She found with Gavin the identity. Oh, we're such fake news. Solving crime, too. Raising the stock market.
University of Maryland President Wallace Lowe has announced his plans to launch anti-hate initiatives for campus, an affirmative action plan in an attempt to do more to quell hate. His plan includes establishing a hate bias and campus safety task force, a rapid response team, allocating hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Office of Diversity to help these efforts, a new annual report on all campus hate bias incidents, and appointing a council to prohibit hate bias symbols or actions in any venue. Then hopefully when you're finished with daycare, you can be ready for the real world. What do you want to do when you grow up, Johnny? I want to be a campus diversity chief of the hate bias department. Now, this is in response to a stabbing on campus where Chris Urbanski, a 22-year-old white man, stabbed to death a 23-year-old black student, which is being looked at as a hate crime, mainly because the Facebook group, the Alt-Right Nation, which Urbanski had joined. I'd like him to look into any pharmaceuticals the psycho was taking. While this is a tragic event, the aftermath is part of an ongoing trend on college campuses to redesign and reshape higher education into kindergarten, telling everyone how to get along. Be careful what you do and say on social media, as it may be held against you. For Infowars.com, this is Owen Schroyer.
Infowars has partnered with Defender Body Armor to bring you a new state-of-the-art line of advanced, highly tested body armor from InfoWarsStore.com. Defender Body Armor is certified to protect against all handgun rounds, even armor-piercing FN 5.7 pistol rounds. The secret to Defender Body Armor is its proprietary process and technology that disperses more kinetic energy at a rate higher than any other traditional body armor, using one of the strongest synthetic materials ever created, called ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene. Defender Armor is also super compact and lightweight. There's a reason the Department of Defense chose Defender to manufacture their new line of advanced lightweight armor. It works. Defender Body Armor is made right here in America and has received the highest level ballistic resistance certification from an authorized NIJ ballistic laboratory. Defender Body Armor is now available through InfoWarsStore.com, so you can defend yourself, your family, and finance the info war against the globalists all at the same time. A total 360 win. We have the new product at InfoWarsLife.com, BioTrue Selenium.
We've had so many requests over the years for selenium, and just recently we were able to source a certified organic, bioavailable selenium from mustard seed extract. When you take selenium in the body, it actually benefits the detoxification systems in your body. It helps balance the thyroid gland. It helps detoxify.
Selenium is another one of those absolute must-haves.
The highest concentration of selenium is in the thyroid gland, but it's actually used all over the body. As a matter of fact, there's 25 genes in the body that are directly dependent upon selenium. So it really is a all-around nutrient that everybody really needs.
I'm taking it now every day. This is so key. BioTrue Selenium is the product, the best selenium that we could bring you. We believe it's the best out there at a very, very low price. Exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
Rallying patriots worldwide in defense of human liberty. It's Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. I am your host, Alex Jones. I'm going to get into some of the big breaking news from my sources in D.C., one of them Dr. Corsi, that has him for the first time in his career, including working in the Middle East for the State Department, actually fearing for his life. He's done a lot of dangerous stuff, but the intel he's got on a host of issues in D.C. is so bombshell, it'll make your head spin. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to air a special report here that is important because it ties into people like Katy Perry and all these heartless globalists And people out there like Ariana Grande, who it's confirmed did say, "I hope all my fans die." That's a real quote by her. And of course, she hasn't criticized Islam for blowing up and killing 22 of her young fans or for maiming 50 plus others. And I've got a bunch of footage of Muslims saying they're not sorry it happened either. So there you go, the religion of peace. How does the open West think you bring people in from third world dungeons where women are sold as slaves and wear bags over their heads, and that somehow they're not going to try to conquer you and make you convert to their cult? And then I'm supposed to shut up and not talk about it. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Now, let's go ahead and go to this report, because Luciferians Pray for America, a powerful John Bound report. And then there's another report, the liberal hysteria is getting worse. That's right, John Kerry's idiotic commencement speech at Harvard by the master of exposing these people, Mark Dice. Again, he said, oh my gosh, you may all be speaking Russia soon. You may all be speaking Russian soon. The Russians can barely run their own country. The Russians were hardly involved in our election. Our government's trying to overthrow Russia. Our government overthrew Ukraine. This is just crazy that it's gotten to this point as a culture, as a nation, as a planet, that everything's Russia when none of it's Russia. I have a stack of news here, and I figured out what they're doing. They recycle stories every few weeks thinking you have no memory. They put out the same fake story over and over again. Breaking, CNN. Exclusive. The Attorney General, when he was a senator, didn't fill out all the forms about any foreign nationals he met with. And then at the bottom of the article, it says U.S. senators are exempt from that because they meet with foreign dignitaries as part of their job, and they're a separate branch of government from the executive. And then it gets into the whole issue of oversight. But the point is, I know when I see these headlines, it's a lie, because I've already Groundhog Day been through them 5 or 6 times in the cycle. They think you have no memory. It's like, we have all the wiretaps, total proof, Trump did this and that. Oh, really? Those are illegal. Who's the leaker? We never did that. There are no wiretaps. You're insane to say it. Here's hundreds of headlines. Here's hundreds of videos of you saying it. We never said it. You're insane. What, do you listen to Alex Jones? Listening to us means you have a memory. That's all it means. Or they go, last night, this may be it for Trump. The military's hopping mad. Doesn't say who, though. Another secret source. He gave out the location of our submarines to North Korea in a conversation with the president of the Philippines. And I went, wait a minute. That conversation happened a while back, and Trump was on the news about the Armada and the submarines. And the submarines docked in Seoul as a show of force, saying they would now be deployed in the South China Sea. Extra submarines. It was announced as a show of force by the Pentagon, by the president. It'd be like if Trump announced Christmas was coming 6 months before, and then Christmas came, and he gave out the intel that Christmas was coming. I mean, it's that crazy. But see, the way the headline is, Trump gave away the secret, nuke locations. He gave away where the submarines are. And as soon as I see it, I go, Trump was all over the news a month ago about the Armada and the 2 submarines, and they docked, and they were there, and he didn't give out the exact location. That's part of a show of force. And then I pulled up the articles from a month ago with exactly those words. So, let's go ahead and go to this Katy Perry breakdown, or Luciferians Pray for America. Then we'll get to liberal hysteria is getting worse. John Kerry, idiotic commencement speech at Harvard. Here it is.
The bombing in Manchester saw the usual predictable outpouring of thoughts and prayers from celebrities, notably Ariana Grande herself, well known for her I Hate America faux pas a couple of years ago. Regardless, our culture dictates that her thoughts and prayers and those of the elite celebrity class are paramount to us little people. But it was the thoughts and prayers of Katy Perry that grabbed my attention.
Oh, but I think that the greatest thing we can do is just unite and love on each other and let no barriers, no borders. Like, we all need to just coexist.
Oh my gosh. As you say, in your grandbabies, which one of them could you look in their eyes today and tell them that they're expendable? for another foreign person to have a nicer life, which one would you like to say? You, a child, are expendable for someone else to come over here and not follow the law.
Perry tweeted out that she was praying for everyone in Manchester. The question is, who is Perry praying to?
And if you didn't know, Katy Perry used to be a Christian gospel singer until she says that she sold her soul to the devil to become a pop star in mainstream music.
You're doing really well now, but didn't you release a CD like almost 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I released a gospel record when I was 15 because I grew up in, a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers, and so I kind of sang about, what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil. Perry
has displayed a full-blown penchant for Illuminati symbolism for years now.
It went from being a very secretive society to hardly anybody knowing about it. Only a few people had written books about it, to now everybody supposedly thinks they know about it, and it's become a part of pop culture. As you said, the cover of Rolling Stone this week is Katy Perry with an Illuminati eye earring, and in the article they mention InfoWars, and she says, she wants to be a part of the Illuminati. And it's interesting. Most people, the pop culture maniacs, believe that the Illuminati is just a secret society of celebrities. And of course, in this Babylonian fallen society, that's the number one goal of most people. And it serves two purposes. It serves to condition the masses that their controllers are cool. They're the ultimate power structure that the little peon public want to be a part of. But this is also serving to help externalize the hierarchy, because as we know, the one world coming religion is going to be that of Luciferianism or Satanism, and they're all building up this big New World Order, Orwellian police state, unified currency.
And most recently, she appeared on Saturday Night Live mimicking the sick elitist rituals brought to the fore by John Podesta's hacked emails. It reads, "Dear Tony, I am so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother is joining? That dinner Abramovich spoke of was nothing less than a thelemic occult ritual. In spirit cooking, Marina uses pig's blood, which most resembles human blood, as a medium to connect the spirit world with the material world. Perhaps Perry was praying to the deity future presidential candidate The Rock mentioned during one of his skits.
Hail Satan.
This statement made even more stomach-churning as The Rock and the Saturday Night Live crew poked fun at a child-molesting robot.
And for the most evil invention in the world contest, I invented a child-molesting robot.
Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. As nations become corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters. John Bound for Infowars.com.
I'll play the clip in just a moment. The liberal hysteria about the Russians continues to get worse by the day. Take a look at John Kerry giving a commencement speech to the graduate students at Harvard when he alluded that the Russians have taken over our government.
I'm often asked what the secret is.
What the secret of Skull and Bones is, which you're a member of, when you laid nude in a coffin and were born again into this satanic secret society? That secret?
I was just up at a luncheon and we were having some conversation about government. And I've been asked, what is the secret to having a real impact on government?
Oh, the secret of government, yes. Let's not talk about your Skull and Bones rituals.
And I've been asked, what is the secret to having a real impact on government? Well, it's recently changed. I used to say either run for office or get a degree from the Harvard Kennedy School. With this White House, I'd say buy Rosetta Stone and learn Russian.
John Kerry, you're killing me. What's next? You're not going to have a joke about fake news, are you?
Let me be honest about it. When it was first reported that a Yale grad was going to be speaking at Harvard's Kennedy School, the initial reaction was fake news.
But
notwithstanding my Yale background,
Speaking of fake news, CNN actually interviewed former FBI Director James Comey's father about what he thinks his son thinks about President Trump. No, I'm not joking. This is a real story from the Counterfeit News Network. James Comey's father, Trump, was scared to death of the FBI director. The father of former FBI Director James Comey says his son was fired because President Donald Trump was, quote, scared to death of him. In a phone interview with CNN on Saturday, J. Brian Comey called his son's firing last week a Trump deal. My son didn't give him 100% loyalty, and he demands that of people who work for him. The 86-year-old said, my son said he would give 100% honesty, but not loyalty. I'm sorry, is this something from a tabloid in the supermarket checkout aisle? Or is this supposed to be a real news story? I mean, the next thing you know, CNN's going to be interviewing one of his high school friends. Wait, what's this? Trump should be scared, Comey friend says. This is a real article from the Counterfeit News Network as well. A friend of James Comey says that if he were President Donald Trump, he would be scared of the former FBI director's pending testimony. I found it interesting and very telling that Comey declined any opportunity to tell his story in private. Benjamin Witz, who describes himself as a Comey confidant, told CNN's Anderson Pooper on AC360. Describes himself as a Comey confidant. What kind of a friend of the former leader of the FBI calls up CNN and says, hey, let's do an interview. This guy has a story to tell, says Witz, who also runs a blog called Lawware and is a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute. Wait, so this guy just called CNN and said he's a friend of James Comey, and they put him on...
Here's an actual clip of Witz. That's just part of the powerful report from Mark Geist. It's up on Infowars.com right now, where he, again, says that Trump ought to be really scared. This is the bureaucracy appointed by the Democrats wanting to overturn the election by the American people because they want to seize the Supreme Court. They want to gut this country once and for all. They don't want an American recovery. And their blue blood Republican elite friends, they want the exact same thing. Here's the clip.
I thought it was interesting and very telling that he declined an opportunity to tell his story in private. He clearly wants to do it in a public setting, and I interpret...
Right, he was asked to testify in private, and he said no, so now it's going to be public.
Right, and I think that's a reflection of the fact that this is a guy with a story to tell.
You would think that Comey was the president. These people make me sick. All right, I'll get to the big news that I've been mentioning in the next segment. Then I'm going to continue on with the incredible response by the Muslims everywhere, celebrating the attack in Manchester and saying you better watch your mouth about Islam or there's going to be repercussions. And then to see governments everywhere saying we don't know why this happened. You brought in a bunch of people from completely backward areas of the world that can't even get civilization going because they're so busy killing each other. And quite frankly, we talk about reformation of Islam. ISIS and Al-Qaeda, a lot of people say, is the reformation. It's it going back to its roots of the way the Prophet Muhammad, blessings be upon him, actually engaged. Here's the deal. I don't want to kill anybody. But I'm sick and tired of being pushed around. And I'm sick and tired of the left putting out fake stories that I blame the victims in Manchester when it's the left that brought in the people that attacked them and knew they were going back and forth to Libya and knew exactly what they were doing and what they had a plan to carry out. And then you have the singer, Grande, who says she hates Americans, she hates her fans, she loves open borders, and Katy Perry running around saying the exact same thing, and nobody calls them on it. Instead, the Daily Beast runs around taking articles down that have those statements in them because they know it's so damning, people might actually come out of their trances that are reading BuzzFeed. Saw an article this weekend, BuzzFeed exclusive. Trump gave away the secret location of the nuclear subs. I read it. There was no citation. There was no proof. And then I went, wait a minute. A month ago, it was all over the news. He sent 2 aircraft carrier task forces and sent extra nuke subs to the area. And And then Trump wouldn't say where they were when he was asked, and the media said, oh, he's dumb. He doesn't know geography. No, he wasn't saying their location. He did the opposite of what you said. It was a show of force when they landed in South Korea, when they docked. But again, this is how they take anything and turn it into a lie. Oh, he won't say the location because he doesn't know it. A month later. You know they're making notes. A month from now, we'll say he gave the location. Yeah. You can see them loading their calendars up with the new lie that they're going to put out each and every day. And they just recycle it. Yeah, Sessions got caught meeting in secret with the Russians. Yeah, he's going to get arrested. Read the bottom of the article. They have to admit, actually, senators aren't supposed to do it. The FBI tells them don't fill out that form because it's part of their duty to meet with foreign nationals. Think about that. Think about how dumb they think. And every couple of weeks, they recycle that same story again. He got caught. He got caught. Oh, he got caught. Did you hear? Oh, yeah, bombshell. He got caught with the Russians. And here's the big bombshell coming up after the break. You know what? I'm going to leave until we come back from break. It's just knowing the stuff I know of these people makes me so disgusted by them. I'm not even angry at them. That it's almost paralyzing in shame that the American people are so weak. I love them. That they let these pop singers tell them how much they hate them and how they hope they die and how they love Islam. I mean, Hollywood is saying, we hate you, we want your kids. They're saying, we're pedophiles, give in to us. And we just run up the white flag and say, Durka, Durka, Muhammad Jihad. North Korea's threatening to nuke everybody. All these countries are out of control. Russia's the only country actually not threatening us. I'm not some Russia-phile, Rus-phile. I've not been to Russia, whatever. It's just I can geopolitically look. They're being ganged up on by the globalists as well.
No, quit calling it like it is.
They're fighting radical Islam. And then I do see Trump, though, becoming more and more chumped by this. And notice, the more he gives in to John McCain, the more they say he's a Russian agent. And oh my God, once General Flynn went and hosted a show and got paid to go to Russia. That's all these generals do is get paid to go give speeches. Obama's about to get paid millions for some new damn speech. So Gavin, let's be critical of Trump. I mean, I love Trump. He's totally delivering. But optically, he is kind of getting chumped by going along with this whole thing that he's got to prove he's tough on Russia and people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I liked Syria. I thought it was a fun little fireworks show that I called it 40 chests in 4 different ways.
No, I get it. Blow up the empty base, look tough, but it hasn't backed them off.
Yeah, I like that part. But I'll tell you what, it's hard to disagree with Coulter when she says, where's the wall? Can we have one brick, please? Can we have a little bit of fence?
You know, that was a big, one of his biggest campaign things. And what I found, Alex, when I talk to people at his events, when I do polls on Twitter, the wall's number one.
He's delivering on the economy. He's delivering on Glass-Steagall. He's amazing. Yeah, let me ask you this in the last 2 minutes we have left. You've got so much on your mind. What else are you focused on? What other tidbits do you want to impart to this audience?
To keep fighting for free speech. I think the amendments are in order of importance. The second is the second most important amendment. I think it's because with the First Amendment, with free speech, you get to explain to people counterintuitive concepts like more guns, less crime. You benefit everyone with the First Amendment. And you know what? The government wasn't so bad with free speech. In the past few years, the Supreme Court's been pretty good with that. It's the people that didn't seem to understand it. They wanted you fired when you used a bad word. They wanted to take your kids away when you're the kind of guy who never stops talking about his kids, like, say, Alex Jones. They wanted to shut down entire companies because they donated to the wrong thing. And that is finally changing, that culture where Americans are against free speech.
And that's what Trump's really done, is say no to the bullies, no to political correctness. That's the big victory.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget when he was saying anchor baby, and someone said, why do you use that term? It is offensive. Some Mexican journalist, and he goes, what do you want me to say? And the guy hadn't even thought of it. He said, maybe undocumented child of foreign born, and he goes, nah, I'm saying anchor baby. And that moment, all of America went, finally, we could just speak normally again. We could be Americans again.
I'm going to be really honest with everybody. I'm so angry right now that I probably shouldn't even be on here. I may just have to take off tomorrow. Because you can overheat a race car engine and send it up to 15,000 RPMs and blow it.
Or do you feel the same?
But again, it's beyond anger. I'm struggling. I just can't believe how evil the globalists are, what liars they are. And because I have a memory, I see the lies, I see the flip-flops, I see the deception, I see the twisting, just like you do, and it only gets worse and worse and worse. In fact, you can ask Nico, earlier he was saying, man, you did a lot of preparation over the weekend for this show, a lot of it last night. Today, I've never seen you writing memos up about what you want to cover, and then now you're just all over the map because these people are evil and they know they're evil. That's what hit me over the weekend. Not just the controllers high up, but the actual newspaper reporters, the Democrats, the liberals. They know they're not liberals. They know they're authoritarians. They know they're liars, and they consciously want to learn how to be better liars. It's like the Gruber meetings on C-SPAN with the top faculty teaching them how to lie, and they were looking at him like he was God. About, I'm one of the best liars, and I was chosen to lie.